Hello friends, this is Sandipan here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In the previous video, we have learned all about packages and pip in Python with examples. Today, we are going to explore the concept of file handling in Python in a great details with examples. Stay with me till the end because today's topic is going to be a really crucial one, and also by the end of this video, you will have a solid understanding of file handling in Python. Also, there will be multiple interesting bonus topics that we will discuss at the end. So, without any further ado, let's get started. File handling is a very important part of any type of applications, and Python has its own powerful tools and several functions to do various operations with files like creating, reading, updating, and deleting files in various ways. But before jumping in, we first need to understand why we need files and file handling in programming. Think about a scenario when we write a code, we run it, we enter some data, do some operation, get some output, and at the end, when the program stopped executing, all of the data that we entered or we got as an output or the data stored in the variables there in our code all will be gone and cleared out from memory as they're all temporary stuff. But suppose if those data or values we are working with seems important to us and we want to store those data somewhere so that later on when we rerun or revisit our program again, we will get those previously stored data and maybe we can continue our work from where we left. In such scenario, we have to store those data somewhere permanently in memory. And there comes the use of file handling in programming. Now you may ask, we have a database to work with our program, we can connect it and store the data we want. But if you imagine, it's way more complex. We have to define the structure of the data, connect database with our code, write complex logic to store, retrieve, update or delete data from a database. In comparison, if we have to store some data permanently and in a simple format, the simplest way to store it is in the form of text, and it's always convenient to store it in a simple text file rather than a database. Now that we know why and when to use file handling in our code, let's see how we can use file handling operations in Python. To perform any operation, first we need to open the file in our code. So the syntax to open a file in our code looks like this: my underscore file equals open, and inside parenthesis, first we need to give the file name with path, then comma mode. Now we will discuss about this mode, but before that, once we open the file, we can do any file operation such as writing or reading a file. And after doing any operation, we need to close it too. Because not closing a file can keep the process in use and can cause many errors while accessing the file later. So to avoid those errors, we have to write the close method also like this: my underscore file dot close. Now let's discuss about the functions. So to perform any operation on a file like reading or writing, first we have to open the file using Python's built-in function open. It takes two arguments. One is the file name with the path specified and a specific mode which represents for which purpose we are opening the file. For example, whether we are trying to create a new file or overwriting the content of an existing file or appending some text in an existing file or just to read a file. So these are the modes, you can read it out. But in general, R is for read operation, W is for write operation, A is for append operation, R plus is for both read and write, W plus is for write and read, A plus is for append plus reading a file, and X is for creating a file. Now here R plus and W plus may seem confusing as they sound same, but there's a slight difference. If the file is not present in the specified path, R plus will raise error, whereas W plus will create the file there and continue to do its operation. Now read the description of every mode and guess, to create a new file, which mode we have to use in our open function. Pause the video, think for a moment, and let me know your answer in the comment section below. So, if you guessed W, X, W plus, A or A plus, you were absolutely correct. Now you may ask, why not R plus? But as I already told, if we try to open using R plus and if the file is not present in the specified path, it will raise error. So the most commonly used mode for this purpose is W, and let's open a file using it. So to create a file, first we need to write the open function like this. Open, inside parenthesis, we have to give the file name with path where we want to create our file. So I am giving stored underscore files slash program underscore data dot txt, then comma, and the mode, that is W. Now the open function will return the file reference which we have to store in a variable like this. Now I can write any data or content inside this file like this. My file dot write, inside parenthesis, I can give any text in a string format like this. Hello there. Program data stored successfully. So, using this write method, we can pass the text that we want to get written in the file. And now, once our write operation is completed, we have to close our file like this. My underscore file dot close. So before running, you can see I have created an empty folder named stored underscore files, and we are trying to create a file that is program underscore data dot txt in this folder. Currently this folder is empty, but let's run our code and see what will happen. And now you can see our program got executed and a file program underscore data dot txt has been created inside this folder. Let's open it, and you can see the text we passed inside the write function that's got written here. That is hello there, program data stored successfully. Now we can add multiple write statement to store multiple data like this. So if I copy the same line one more time, and I am giving a number at the end of the text, the first one as 1 and the second one as 2, and now if I run it and check the file, see the text is printed 2 times. We can add a new line character, that is /n, with the second statement for better visibility. And now if I run it and check the file, the text are now printed in a separate line. So to create multiple lines of text, we can use a new line character, that is /n, with the text, and it will create a new line in our file. Interesting, right? So literally we created a file and we stored some text into it using our code. Now that we have created a file with some contents into it, let's see how we can read a file and its contents through our code. For that, we have to use the same open function like this. My underscore file equals open, and inside parenthesis we will give the path and file name of the file that we want to read. And here you can pause the video and try to guess in which mode we have to open it so that we can read the file. So if you guessed R or R plus, you were absolutely correct. W plus we cannot use as this will overwrite the file, and A plus we cannot use as through this we will not able to read the contents of the file as the file pointer is set at the end of the file. Also in these modes, if the file is not present in the system, then it will create the file which will not be needed for reading operation. So we can write our mode here. I am using R. Then To read any text, we can use the read function like this, my_file dot read. It will return the text and we can print it like this, and then closing the file like this, my_file dot close. So if we run this, it's basically printing the whole content of the file. Now there's another function called readLine, using which we can print the content line by line. So instead of read, if we use readLine, print my_file dot readLine, it's printing only the first line, that is hello there, program data stored successfully 1. Now if we again call readLine in the next line, it's printing the first 2 lines of our text. So similarly, as many times we will call readLine, it will print each line of the file from starting. So that covers all about creating, writing and reading a file using Python. As this video is getting longer, we will discuss the file append and delete operation and some error handling techniques with some bonus points in our next file handling part 2 video. But if you missed any of the points out, make sure to rewatch it and it will definitely be clear. But if you still have any doubt, feel free to comment down below. Hope you find this video helpful. If so, give a thumbs up, share the video with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to my YouTube channel so that I can create more such helpful contents like this. Hope to see you in my next video. Till then, goodbye.